Hi, I'm Ted Wei, and I'm excited to show you how to accelerate time to insight with Microsoft Dynamics 365 Customer Insights. This allows you to drive personalized experiences for your customers. Customer Insights is a customer data platform, and I'll talk about why it's important, but mainly I'll focus on our configurable, out-of-box AI models for customer lifetime value, churn, and product recommendations. These models are trained on your data so they can be optimized for your business. I'll show you how you can run the models and gain insights. More importantly, there are a ton of things that you can do to add value. Some ideas are building segments easily and activating them. These segments can be exported to Power BI to visualize results and see the impact of improvements week over week. If you have all customer, inventory, and operational data in Azure Data Lake, you can extend customer insights by creating your own custom models with Azure Machine Learning. The benefits of it are that you get to personalize without limits, connect with customers directly with full data ownership, engage with customers in new ways based on their preferences, and finally, deliver the right content through the right channel at the right moment to create raving fans. And it's really about driving value across multiple business activities, from marketing to sales and service and much more. Customer Insights is built on a secure and compliant enterprise-grade platform. It's backed by the power of Azure with a Synapse analytics platform and Power Query data preparation coupled with a robust ecosystem of data connectors. You can use Customer Insights to understand your customers, and those insights help you on your orchestration and engagement activities. Let's talk about how we're making all of this real with edible arrangements. I think of Edible when I want to celebrate a moment or connect with a loved one. They've been helping people do that for more than 20 years. Now, what Edible wanted to do was to expand its business strategy. It wants to move from occasion-based gifting to making every day a reason to celebrate, like a brownie when you finish that work assignment or a healthy cup of fruit for an afternoon snack. They started adding new products and service lines, but then things started getting more complex, and they realized they had to build a clearer view of their customer data in a single, easy-to-access location. And they're doing that with Customer Insights. So let me take you on a journey of how Edible is figuring out how to serve their customers in a way that's personalized and meaningful. Imagine you're a marketing manager, and you want to kick off an email campaign for free add-ons. Who should you send them to for the best return on that investment? To answer that question, we need to answer a few other questions, and we'll use AI to unlock those insights. We want AI to predict who are the customers that have the highest customer value in the next few months? Who are the customers most likely to churn? What are the recommended products you should put in that email? Let's talk about how Edible can do that in Customer Insights. For those who aren't familiar with Customer Insights, here's the homepage, and you can see a summary of segments and measures that I've already created based on my data and AI model results. Edible has millions of customers, but to protect customer privacy in this demo, I'm only going to show a smaller group of fictional customers with synthetic data. Let's take a look at the unified customer profile of Patty Melendez, a fictional customer. In here, you can see her demographic information and filter on any activity. In this case, we're seeing mobile orders, web page activity, and in-store purchases. Microsoft's proprietary data is available, so you can enrich your customer profile with brand and interest affinities. I'm looking for interests such as desserts, fruit gifts, and chocolate, and I'm looking at affinities for other businesses in this space. Knowing more about your customer helps you serve them better. You can connect Customer Insights to Azure Synapse to do enterprise-scale data ingestion and transformation. The more data you have, the more accurate your AI models will be. There are other types of data that I want to highlight using the Consent Center and Engagement Insight capabilities in CI. The built-in Consent Center allows you to seamlessly integrate and harmonize consent data centrally. If a customer consented to communication, such as receiving newsletters, then this data is valuable in improving predictions and serving customers better. The other type of data is what you collect from your customers' journeys on websites and mobile apps, so you can understand how they're engaging. By adding a few snippets of code to instrument your website, you can start sending events using the capabilities of Engagement Insights. This, combined with the unified profiles, gives you personalization without limits. So, Being able to honor customer consent, know what their preferences are, is a good thing, like strawberries. I like strawberries. Being able to measure customer behavior on your website and combine that with your unified profile is another good thing, like sprinkles. I like sprinkles. And easily applying AI to serve your customers better is a great thing, like chocolate. I like chocolate. You have strawberries, sprinkles, and chocolate, and when you combine them, like dipping strawberries in chocolate and putting some sprinkles on top, then you've just gone into a whole new dimension of flavor. Because now I can use my web analytics data and what my customers consented to understand my customers better. Let's take a quick look at what that data looks like. It's very simple to ingest and make use of all that data. And as you can see here, I have tables of customer purchase history, consent, and web page views. When customers authenticate and sign in, you can combine their activity on your website with their unified customer profiles and tie everything together. Taking a look at our consent data, you can also see who opted into various subscriptions, such as the Edible Rewards newsletter, which indicates engagement and interest. All this can be unified with a customer profile as activities, which helps you understand your customers holistically. Now, let's talk about low-code and no-code AI models. The prerequisite is to have all your data ingested and customer profiles unified. You can easily create activities from your entities, and having everything as an activity makes it super easy for the AI models to ingest. Our data science and engineering teams have researched the best algorithms to use and have done a ton of work underneath the covers for you to have a true low-code and no-code experience. You get to train the models on your own data to achieve the best accuracy for your use case. Going back to our objective, we're trying to figure out who we should send emails to for free add-ons. We want to reach out to the customers who have these two characteristics. They have the highest predicted customer lifetime values for a given time period, and they are at highest risk of churn. We'll also run our product recommendations model to decide what we want to recommend to each customer in our email campaign. Let's see how we can do that. In predictions, these are the out-of-box AI models available to you. We'll start with the customer lifetime value model. Give the model a name and choose a name for the output entity or table that the results will be written to. You can specify the time period over the next number of months or years that you want to predict on. For example, I'll put 3 months. That means the AI model will predict how much that customer will spend in the next 3 months. Active customers are defined as those who have made recent purchases, and we want to focus on those customers. I'll let the model decide how to define an active customer, or you can choose your own interval. And finally, I'll let the model decide what percentage of my customers are considered high value, or you can manually set that too. Next, we're going to add the data required by the model. Since we're predicting customer lifetime value, we need the activity that contains the purchase history. I've already classified this as the sales order line activity, so it's super easy to add because the columns of my data have already been mapped correctly. The data I just added was transaction history of purchases in-store and online. I could just use this, but I can add data from Consent Center. Knowing if a customer opted into email newsletters is valuable and has an impact on their customer lifetime value and churn. I'll choose the consent activity that I had already set up. I'll save this and go on to the next step. You can choose how often you want to retrain the model. After that, save and run. And since this will take a little while to run, I'll show you the output table where the results are already written based on a model I've already trained. You can see the results in the output entity. This is now just another table in Customer Insights, and you can use that as you would any other table. Based on the CLV score, I can get an idea of what my predicted customer lifetime value is for the time period I configured. I can go through the same process to get a prediction for churn for each customer, but in the interest of time, I'll skip that. Let's go create a product recommendations model. You can get more model information available about it with details about how this model works. It also describes the algorithm, which is a collaborative filtering algorithm. Now let's go ahead and get started with creating a new model. Choose a name here, and you can see how this is a consistent experience across all the models. For the product recommendations model, you start by specifying how many products you want to recommend. You can decide whether you want to include products that customers have recently purchased. If not, then set the look-back window, which is the time frame the model considers before recommending the product to the user again. I'll set this to 0, since some customers may have a favorite fruit bouquet that they buy over and over. Our model recommends more than one product, so customers can try something new too if they want. Here's where I add the sales order line activity based on purchase history, and this is a very similar experience you saw for CLV. Since the activity has already been set up, all the required attributes have already been mapped. After adding this data, we can go ahead and add additional product information if you want. Next, you can decide whether you want to recommend products from your entire product catalog, or if you want to add a filter to only recommend from a specific set of products. Tell Customer Insights how often you want to retrain the model, whether it's going to be weekly or monthly, and then you can start the training. Once the model is trained on your data, you get the output entity with the customers and the products that are recommended to them. You can see for this particular customer, the model is recommending some pretty tasty treats. These recommendations are based on what similar customers have purchased and any other activities you have added. And that's it. This is the no-code experience to training powerful AI models customized on your own data. It's amazing to see all the AI model results, but how do you know what that model is doing? What are the factors that influence the model's performance? What can you do to improve that model's accuracy? I'll talk about how we're answering these questions because Microsoft runs on trust and we're committed to responsible and transparent AI. These are the principles we abide by when it comes to responsible AI. They deserve an entirely separate session, but I want to call out some of them specifically. First, there's fairness. AI systems should treat people fairly. This is top of mind for us as we're thinking of ways to help you better understand your data because a model will be as biased as its data. The second is transparency. AI systems should be understandable. Not all of us are machine learning experts and statisticians, and we shouldn't need to be. But there needs to be a basic explainability of how the model made its decisions. How we're achieving this as a journey you and I are on together. So as always, any feedback you have on how we can live up to our principles will always be welcome. Third, there's privacy and security. You see this with our consent center. If you predict who will be most likely to churn, you can create a segment of that list. However, if that customer did not consent to being contacted, they will automatically not be included in that segment. This is how we're honoring customer consent. So next, let me show you what you see in Customer Insights after you train this model as we live out responsible and transparent AI. Let's go to the model results page for customer lifetime value. You'll notice the model score is A. This means that the model found more than 5% of the high-value customers compared to a baseline model. Let's take a deeper look at the model rating. We're comparing the AI model to a baseline model, which is not AI. It's a standard formula used by industry to calculate CLV, which you can see here. The model was able to do 21% better than the baseline, and the error was reduced by 29% compared to baseline. By providing these metrics, we want you to be confident in using this model. You know that the model performs 21% better than an industry standard baseline. In the upper right, you'll be able to see the percentage of customers that are bucketed in low and high based on predicted customer lifetime value. At the bottom, you can see the most influential factors for the model. And while we're looking at these most influential factors, I want to take a pause and talk about low-code and no-code AI. Let me tell you about my neighbor who loves to restore cars. Nowadays, he can go online and buy an engine and pretty much anything else he needs. If he's rebuilding a sports car, he can find a more powerful and modern engine than the original one in that car. Data science is kind of the same way. Researchers have made amazing AI models available for free online at GitHub. There are a ton of open source components that you can also grab. We know customers are grabbing stuff off the internet. We've worked with a customer who downloaded a churn model and asked us if Customer Insights can do better. Customer Insights did do better. And why was that? My neighbor can tell you why. The secret sauce is not in obtaining the parts. It's not necessarily having the most powerful engine. The secret sauce is in how those parts come together as a system. Imagine if my neighbor and I have the same engine and same parts, he'll be able to build a beautiful sports car. It'll be fine-tuned and it'll fly down the highway. He'll be lucky if my car even runs. Bringing this back into Customer Insights, we were talking about which features had the biggest impact. You can see number of products purchased, overall transaction value, and transaction frequency. If you recall, the data we provided was just rows of transaction data with dates and prices. Nobody provided a column of number of products purchased or aggregated the transaction frequency. All of that was done underneath the covers as part of the feature engineering and data preparation for the model, which is why you don't need a PhD to get very good results. Because quite frankly, it's not that the machine learning algorithms are hard. It's more because of the complexity of getting all the components to work together. It's the taking in a table of data, doing the data prep and transforms, feature engineering, up and down sampling to balance positive and negative classes. These are all the things that are required for the AI model to get great results. And we've created a fine-tuned system to make it all happen. Going back to our list of models, let's take a look at a different CLV model run. I know in a demo, and especially in a recorded session, everything's supposed to be perfect. But I want to show the CLV model, which had a failed status. We've added an input data usability report that will analyze your data and give you recommendations. For example, there are some months without any transactions. If you expected transactions every single month, then this may be a sign that you need to double-check your data ingestion and data transformation pipeline. Another issue was the prediction period. It's giving me recommendation on how to better set the prediction time period. These are ways we equip you for getting the best results because we're committed to being as transparent and as helpful as we can. Now, let's do something useful with these AI model results. Now that we have our AI model output, let's create some segments based on that data. As you can see, I'm creating a segment where the churn score is above a certain threshold, and I want to intersect that with customers who have a CLV score above another threshold. These are the customers I want to invest in retaining. Customer Insights also has capabilities to find similar customers powered by AI. For example, in this segment, I'm interested in finding similar customers who have the same favorite item and live in the same postal code. This can help you find other customers who you might not have considered before. By running this, I'll get an expanded segment of customers I can reach out to. Bringing all this together, we now have segments of our high-value customers who are at the highest risk of churn thanks to our AI models. We can also use the expanded segment that we created by finding similar customers if we want. When we reach out to these customers, we have the predictions of the recommended products that we think they will like the most. Now, let's talk about how we can turn insights into action. You can take your segment and recommended products to easily connect to Dynamics 365 Marketing to build an automated campaign or create engaging emails. Or use Dynamics 365 Sales to send out promotions. These are just a few of the connectors we have for you to activate your insights. This is the power of Customer Insights. You get Azure Scale data prep, transform capabilities, integration of engagement insights for web analytics, honoring of customer consent with Consent Center, low-code, no-code AI that's transparent and responsible, and integration with multiple activation targets. We always talk about how we want to delight our customers, but when you're Edible, they're literally delighting customers. The daughter of Edible's founder still loves to go on a delivery run because she gets to see that wow when somebody gets a gift. I hope your customers are just as delighted when you can personalize without limits, create raving fans, and engage in new ways. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you give Customer Insights a try and reach out to us with any questions you have. I can't wait to hear about how you're delighting your customers.